Hey, good morning, Jess Alstrom here, and I have a very, very important message that I tried to get out of, and I am not being allowed by the channels that be. So here it is. Here's the message. I'm not going to get into all the hoops and stuff. If you are a spiritual woman or a woman on her journey, if you are working on yourself, if you are actively opening yourself up to more of that spiritual connection of who you are inside, then this message is for you. Ladies, my community that I have created and been a part of for the past 12 years is 98% women. And I think the reason why is because we focus highly on not only self-development, but self-love and really using and harnessing the power of ourselves. And that's been amazing. We focused on alchemy, we focused on the quantum theories, and we focused on reclaiming, right, our true power. And now we have all come to this new point in time. And when I tell you guys that those of you who can channel can identify what I'm saying, but those of you who really understand this game that's being played here, and we try to look at it from a non-dualistic place of like, it's just a chess game, right? But it's really going to shift this year. And like, we've been having a lot of practice, but this year is where it really, really shifts. And you're going to notice the greatest form of separation. Okay. So this new earth that has been really formulating through our asking and through our work, and it's become like this energetic 5D is physically formed, and it is ready. It's got vacancies, right? It's ready to literally embody. And part of you is embodying that state of being. Part of you is living in that way. But there is also probably a part of you that has one foot in the other reality that, if you're paying attention right now, is imploding on itself, but it is also feels like it's growing because it's a vacuum. Okay, so it's really like pulling your attention, and you're noticing, a lot of people transitioning, and you're noticing a lot of people jumping on their own spirituality this year. And you're noticing within yourself that your main focus is going to be around your personal safety. This is going to be divine feminine. Your main focus is going to get wrapped up in your security, your uncertainty, and your safety. And here's why. So when divine feminine is working on her energy, where she is realizing that her value isn't about what she's getting, like, your power doesn't come from what you can do. It doesn't come from who you can save or how you can help or what you can provide or how well you're trying to protect. It's coming from just your existence. You have a different body than the masculine. Divine feminine energy is fourth dimension. It's the gate, it's the bridge, it's the path. So by nature, there is a difference in structure in the physical feminine body. Therefore, the way that we are energetically is closer to nature than we are to necessarily like the masculine man, which is form, right? The form of nature. Feminine is the energy of nature. Okay, so when we are working on our spirituality and we are taking our classes and we are getting our certifications, and I want to ask you always, like, what is your motivating factor for that? Well, it feels good, and I'm learning more about myself, and I'm starting to have boundaries. Well, it's probably going, depending on how much work you've done right now and how attached you are, is going to be where your safety issues are the greatest right now. Okay, so if you have one foot in and one foot out, you're going to feel that pull. Okay, and that's going to trigger your safety issues. Now, in feminine, when our safety issues are triggered, we move into this masculine energy. And I keep saying this in all my videos, but that you have to understand that a feminine woman who is working on reclaiming and pulling forth her true power that has been hidden and taken and abused and neglected within, is starting to boil. So imagine feminine woman who is working to reclaim herself, that has attachments in the matrix, in third dimensional reality, and that is safety of job, of security of a relationship, of needing to protect children, of whatever you're entangled with or attached to. This could be a business, this could be your clients, this could be your paycheck, this could be your kids, could be your spouse, this could be your hunt for a spouse. Wherever you are attached to the third dimensional reality right now is literally the equivalent of boiling water with a lid on top. Okay. So your opportunity to flow with evolution right now is going to be limited by your level of 3D attachments. Okay. Which means that you are choosing to stay in the third dimensional reality when you have any attachments that trigger safety. Okay. Now, again, this is why I'm using safety as the example, is because what's going to happen right now is the more you say, I want this over here, well, higher self or the universe asks when it's given. And so what it's going to do is it's going to start taking those false securities away from you or putting them out of reach, and so that you can't grab onto it. Okay. It's kind of like that feeling of the void when you're transitioning between timelines, but it's going to, so you're already afraid, right? And now that weird fear that's been brewing the last few years of like something big is changing here. It's changed. It's like it's happened. And of course, because you have free will, you're imagining and seeing the world that you see based on where you are consciously. But if you're asking, right, then the universe is trying to remove anything that you were attached to so that you can begin your new reality with your more sovereign energy. So anything that's being taken away right now, any relationship that's just like shifted majorly, any issues with your own health, any issues with your loved one's health, issues with people transitioning right now. Have you lost your job, or have all of a sudden your clients disappeared? Like, this is because, and you have to really dive deep here, you were attaching your worth and security and safety off of these things. Okay. And maybe you say, no, I'm not. But ultimately, like, if you are attached to your clients, like you channeling source energy through your client and then hoping to get paid for it, that's a false security, because you are abundance. Okay. If you are channeling your love and energy towards your family, and they're not all of a sudden providing you safety or security anymore, it's because this is the family you're supposed to be secure with. If there is crisis in your home or threat of losing your home or changing some sort of dynamic in your home, it is because you are supposed to be sovereignly your own home. If you're feeling alone right now, like the lack of support, lack of awareness of understanding you back, it is because you are supposed to be life partnered and soul mated with yourself, because you have to kind of incubate in your own energy and channel direct to be a fully sovereign being, which is the only way that you will have a residency in 5D, like actually be able to live and generate and manifest from a true state of win-win, a non-duality in physical form. Like, this is the journey. Like, this is what we've all been working for. But if you have anchored attachments that usually come from worth, value, and protection, okay, then the reason why I said you're boiling water with the lid on is because if you are attached to the 3D model for your own value or security right now, then you are leading in your masculine energy. And I got this loud and clear. This is why I've been teaching it so much this last year, is divine feminine. You will not be able to be in fifth dimensional reality leading in your masculine. Now, here's how you know if you're leading in your masculine: because you look feminine, right? You could even be like courteous and have good manners and all of those things and still be leading. Do you feel you have to protect your children from your partner, from school, from the government? Well, protector is a masculine trait. Okay. Do you feel that you have to protect your true essence from your family or your partner? Or has your essence been hurt by the masculine or your job before? Right? Do you feel a sense of defending and protecting of your own gentle flowing energy? Then you are in your masculine. All right. You are leading with your masculine. And it's a catch-22 because if you have been burned and hurt, right, you're going to build walls to protect yourself. But you have to understand that how a divine feminine manifests truly in her feminine is to be completely opened and soft and relaxed. Think about it. The more rigid you are, the harder you work. But the softer you are, the more that you can receive. But when we have received attacks, when we have received judgments, when we have received heartbreaks, when we have received people trapping us, right? We have received bad news. Well, nature of survival is to protect thyself. So you may be even in a divine feminine like workshop right now or a class, but still having to go home and protect your kids from your partner, or protect your dreams from ridicule. Like anywhere that you are in protection or defense, okay, of your own safety. If you feel you have to protect your family from the world or themselves, then that is you leading in your masculine. And as long as you're leading in your masculine, which is your deep untruth, you will be attached to the third dimensional reality. And this is why this message is so important for women, because there is a way for you to be dealing with every single thing you're dealing with, even if it's a loss of job, a loss of spouse, a loss of loved one, your kids are going through it. There is not only a way, there is like a have to, like there is no other option. You cannot go softly reclaiming your feminine energy in 5D and begin to live as the true you while you have all of this masculine armor that you may not even be aware of. So again, this is why on top of every single thing else I'm doing right now, I created this 15-step process to reclaim your feminine energy safely, which means in the loss of the job, without clients coming in. Because what we do is we say, well, as soon as the unemployment comes through, then I can feel safe and I can start figuring out what my next step is. As soon as the clients start coming in, okay, then I can like work on where I'm going to live. And I know that that sounds logical, but logical is also masculine. Okay. And so you cannot do it this way, because the more you hold on to the need of something happening for you to feel safe, okay, then you are going to be separated from your true potential. You will be. Think about it. Think about it like 3D is like a zoo. Okay. Like all the different animals are caged away from their natural habitat. They're in some simulated habitat, and they are fed when they're allowed to be fed, and they are watched. Okay. And they are out of their element, and they are only with their own kind, right? Or kinds that work well with that particular species. And so they are separate. Okay. So there's this great book called Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers Unless They're in the Zoo, right? If you ever want to read it. And it talks about how when animals are in the wild, like, even though it's super dangerous, they do not have mental illness. Okay. Or they do not get psychological like manifestations of illness. But when they're in the zoo, they will get anxiety. They will get, all kinds of cancer and things like that, which they don't normally get in the wild because their natural fight or flight defense is in a natural rhythm of nature. Okay. But when they're in the zoo. So think about it, you guys, when we're in the third dimensional reality, we're in the zoo. Okay. And think about it. How we look at other cages is through social media. Oh, what are the lions doing? Oh, what are these guys doing? And that's how we have like learned that there's more to this world than just the cage that we live in. And this is why we're waking up. But think about it. Think about 5D as being more of that nature reserve. Okay. Like you're protected, but you're free in this way where you can like not have to worry about your own safety of a lion coming getting you necessarily, but you are also provided and protected from that like more free space. Okay, so if you're looking at the transition as far as like a quantum leap, you know, like your first steps of living in 5D is going to be more like that nature reserve, but it's going to also feel like you just got let out of the zoo, and you're going to be like, this is why when we do our biohacking, a month after biohacking is kind of like releasing back into the wild. And it is pretty scary for people because you're going from a zoo to the like nature preserve. But ladies, okay, when I say this, you cannot keep studying spirituality if you don't feel safe in your real life. Okay. If you don't feel safe with yourself, if you don't feel safe with your own diet, if you do not feel safe with your ability to heal yourself, if you do not feel safe abundantly from your toolbox within, then reading and training in spirituality is actually just going to make the water boil more. Okay. And so now that the top is going to be that dualistic pressure. And I'm sure that you have popped that lid a few times recently, but you've got to pay attention to where you are anchored in third dimensional reality based in safety and security. Okay. So where you are keeping the peace to protect your children, you are creating a war. Where you are like biting your tongue and not speaking your truth because you're the black sheep, where you're holding on to a toxic relationship because it's comfortable or it's paying your bills. Like, if anything, here's your option. Stop doing spirituality and just settle in. Okay, stop. Because the more you call forth your divine truth, the bigger your field is going to get. But if you have a lid, okay, walls, boundaries like of protection and defense made out of judgment, right? There's a very big difference in the divine feminine training where we really understand boundaries. Okay. Boundaries is a divine feminine using her own masculine brain as a way to intuitively determine what is going to allow her to be the most free version of herself. Okay. Now, boundaries created out of pain are not intuitive. They are a wounding. They are like PTSD walls, which means, oh, been burned before. But notice how when you are in a safety program, how you lose your guidance system. So you actually let in more perpetrators, you let in more abuse, you let in more because that's what your brain is comfortable with defending itself from. And so it believes that that is actually the right relationship. This is why you guys are asking me like twin flame. Twin flame, you guys, is designed in two parts. It's a soul contract that feels very comfortable, familiar, passionate, usually amazing sex, like you feel like you've known them forever. But that relationship is designed to wake one of you up and burn one of you to the ground. The one that is holding on to the false version of itself will burn. And the one that needs to wake up will wake up eventually from the connection, from the DNA connection of sex. Okay. That's its job. That relationship is not going to be over here. Okay. Because that relationship does not build you. It does not give you wings. It weighs you down. It makes you feel like you're crazy. It makes you challenge your own worth. It makes you feel not good enough. So then what you do is you work harder. You protect more. You shut yourself down more. If you are more hidden from yourself with your own partner or your own family, then you are leading in your masculine. If you are working a 3D job to pay your mortgage when you are literally channeling God on the side, you're leading with your masculine. And that is the only thing keeping you from your abundance, guys. I'm not saying all this bad news to like shock your world. I'm saying that it's a very simple, it always is in quantum physics. It's a simple awareness that you have been attached to the very thing that has hurt you. It's like this obsession we have over our abusers in 3D. It's the love that we didn't get that we're still trying to get, or there's enough love there that we see the potential. Divine feminine, we see it. Like, this is why we hold on to guys and all kinds of stuff, because there's potential. And I did the 7 stages of manipulation to show you how this is unfolding, how animals, if the cages were open, some of them would stay in the zoo, right? Because, hey, I don't know how to live out there. And so now you're being challenged to walk your talk, to, instead of teach, be an example. So I am going through this fire myself. I am being as transparent as I can and let you know that even though I have been a spiritual teacher for many years, I was leading my real life with my masculine. And so I was always hitting the glass ceiling. I was attracting the passive, like, false masculine in my reality, the undriven, or kind of the know-it-all, which was not really giving me any value, was challenging my worth. But hey, that makes me work harder, right? Because for love, 3D love is based on giving up yourself for another. And 5D love is about feeling so free and so safe with yourself that you fully open yourself up. So you're first going to have to do that with you. You're going to have to move back into your feminine and really reclaim how she manifests. It's very different than manifesting with your masculine leading. I know you can make $1 million leading in your masculine, ladies, okay, but you can't sustain it. And you're surrounded by followers who literally you have to train constantly, even if they know how to do their job. And you're usually pursued by men, even if they are relentless. They are, they're more of a taker type of energy, even if they act like givers. Okay. You're having to kind of energize them or motivate them, or you're having to dismantle their anger because they're not free to be who they really are for your own kids. Okay. And so this is an important message, that in order to truly manifest from your true divine feminine energy, it cannot be from hard work. Making another workshop is not going to be how you bring your money line in. Take your own workshop and really act as an example, and you'll start direct connecting source energy. All right. It's like divine feminine does not chase, she attracts, which means literally she could sit on her throne and be so in tune with her own desires that it would come from everywhere, and it would be like it was everyone else's choice. Okay. This is not about manipulation. This is about being the vortex of creation itself. And we have believed that the way that we are abundant and free is to give our energy to someone else and then get a paycheck for it. I mean, do you see how ludicrous it is? Even for me to think about the rhythm that I've been in for years is, okay, let me give my source away. Let me channel, let me be the middleman for God. Let me, take someone to their higher self, and then hopefully I can get paid for that. Like, that is so crazy. But that's zoo thinking, because that's all we know. That's all we've ever lived. And of course, that's what we are constantly like our whole motivation. If you check your motivation, ladies, you're like, I've got to stay safe. So I have to do things or not say things or be a certain way in order to be safe here. When you are literally a hurricane embodied, like, the reason why feminine is so repressed is because of this reason, because it is so easy to manifest once you reclaim it. Okay. And yes, you will have to work on healing your own masculine. Okay. And now here's how you know the condition of your own masculine energy. What type of men are around you? Okay. That is the health of your own masculine. Now, the men you've attracted is the part of your brain that you have that is supposed to be providing and protecting from you. Okay. Now, all of this comes from childhood wounding, and then wounding that we have recreated from our own addictions. We date our abusers, basically, or our neglectors. And then, we play perpetrator and victim back and forth in these relationships, trying to get our power back. Okay. And we could call this a life. But if you're really ready to go to 5D, and I'm like so serious about this, ladies, the only way you're going to do that is to stop and be soft and have hella boundaries that do not come from hard work or literally physical walls. I'm talking about reclaiming yourself as nature. And there's a dark feminine and there's a light feminine, and you will need both of them. Okay. Dark does not mean evil. It's just night and day. Okay. Reclaiming both sides of that feminine energy. And, any sexual issues you have is a wall. Okay. The type of relationship you're in is a wall. Okay. The type of relationship you don't have is a wall. Your safety issues is your thickest wall. And what you believe on a logical path is that if you can get safe, then you can figure this out. If you can get paid, then you can figure this out. And it will not work that way. So this is my message for the divine feminine. And again, you don't have to take my course, but I highly recommend for the future of our children, because we cannot change this if we are not really ourselves. Future of our children, guys, get back to your feminine energy and stop trying to do it through the matrix, because it doesn't work that. You have to put the game down. Okay. And I will tell you, tough love here. If you're asking, your higher self will put the game down for you. You losing your job is the best thing that could have happened to you. And again, that's so scary for me to say, right? None of us want to leave that, especially single mom, 4 kids. Okay. But I know now that if that needs to happen for me to let go, that's going to happen, because I know what's waiting for me over there. I know that I'm already living a huge amount of that. And I have seen the proof. I have met other people, and it's not a pipe dream. It's not a hope, because you are evolving. The whole planet's waking up. Okay. Now they might be waking up in different ways. It doesn't matter. Okay. What matters is what you desire and what it is you are really asking for. If you're not ready to give up your safety, stop doing spiritual work right now. Okay. Because it's only going to get more pressurized. Otherwise, I have created a workshop. It's 15 steps that have to be practiced in laundry, in bills, in raising kids, in your relationship. This is not a spiritual practice. This is divine, feminine, energetic, you reclaiming your true source of abundance and freedom with your own energy. Okay. And some of you at this point maybe have no choice, because that's where I found myself last year. And higher self was like, you can't have this because that's making you feel safe. You can't have that because it's making you feel valuable. You can't have that because, and so it was just like, okay. So I had to find that within. And now that is starting to transmit, instead of the way I was feeling safe before, the idea of attachment versus connection makes a lot more sense. All right. So I will link my workshop on this video if you're feeling called. Otherwise, find your own way, guys. And this year is going to get really intense as far as your belief around safety. All right. So see you soon. I'm in it with you.